So the search query I looked into today in the Astral Projection subreddit was demons. So this episode is going to be all about demons and astral projection.
Hell yeah.
Demonic possession and astral projection. Right. Trigger warning. If demonic possession is a trigger for you, you should skip this article. Of course, you clicked on the title, so don't blame me if you can't sleep without the light on. Note, for the purpose of this article, I'm going to discuss... Hold on. Let me readjust my phone. I'm going to discuss demonic possession as a genuine occurrence. Keep in mind that mainstream science discounts possession as a real condition, attributing the symptoms to brain tumors and or undiagnosed psychiatric disorders. I must discuss demonic possession first before discussing any relation to astral projections, so please be patient. If you've read any of the other Reddit posts, you know I've been astral projecting for over 57 years.
Damn.
Bro's like a boomer. At least.
Yeah, like a boomer astral projector.
Maybe even silent Jim.
Yeah.
Because maybe they got into it in their like 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I've even started up a new channel on YouTube, Astral Club. Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Oh yes.
I think this person like posted in this subreddit the last time I made a video on this, but it was about aliens. Okay, anyways. However, my interest in demonic possession started quite apart from AP, with my religion teacher in high school asking me if I would volunteer to be one of 4 assistants in an exorcism in Philadelphia in 1979.
Damn.
To say the least, I was intrigued. I also appreciated the trust he was placing in me with such an unusual request. The afflicted was a 12-year-old boy who had just immigrated with his family from Puerto Rico. Normally, the exorcist priest would call on close friends and family members to assist in the Roman Catholic rite of exorcism, but the family had few friends or relatives, and those that they did have in the area were terrified to come within a mile of the tortured boy's home. This is getting good. When I arrived at the tenement in West Philadelphia, I waited outside until the priest arrived with his junior priest and the 3 other assistants for the ritual. As one, we all went inside. The interior of the poor home had some scattered, mismatched, hand-me-down furniture. The atmosphere was oppressive and lit only by a single barren lamp with a dim 40-watt bulb. Fear and human sweat filled the air, tinged with fear and resignation. Yeah, dude. It's heavy. Okay. The only realistic Angry Bird. That's a cool name. Bro! That's a good game. I'm surprised. Shout out TF2. Bro, what are you talking? Bro's just rolling. That's hilarious, dude. When I arrived at I've just been getting harassed on my live streams, bro. Like, I don't know if you were in last night, but it was kind of crazy. I was just getting like harassed left and right.
Last night.
Yeah, it was a good time. The exorcist was a small man in his 70s, but he had a firm, gently commanding presence. He asked the woman with a few words of Spanish to take us to the young man. We all climbed the narrow, creaky wooden stairs, the two priests leading the way. The exorcist opened the door and went inside. The assisting priest stayed behind to instruct us four on the rules of the road. For assistance, we were each assigned a limb. I got the left leg. Well, it was my responsibility to hold it down if called upon to do so by either priest. Additional instructions were as follows. 1. The exorcist commands were to be instantly obeyed without question. Anyone who felt they couldn't comply with this command was to leave before the ritual started. Once begun, none could leave without the exorcist calling for a break. 2. We were not to look the possessed child in the eyes nor interact with him in any way. That's so eerie, dude.
I know, that's scary, dude. Because, like, I feel like knowing that you can't make eye contact, you're gonna instinctively want to make eye contact.
Oh, ew.
I
You're
know.
right, bro. You're on the money there. And, like, it also makes me think, like, they have, like, that just, like, to think they might have the power to, like, infect you too, just by making
Yeah.
contact. Or that's what it makes me think. Like, they have power
Hmm.
to eye contact, maybe.
Yeah. It's kind of like in The Conjuring, or like the Conjuring universe and stuff. And every time someone gets possessed, like the demon always like pukes in their mouth, or like looks in their eyes, and like they puke out like some black like form of like plasma into the other person's mouth. They
I
get
think the only one I saw was, like, the second or third one, but I don't
yeah,
remember that.
yeah. It kind of happens like in The Nun. It's like one of my
Oh, that's
favorite.
the new one.
Yeah, it's for the whole like Conjuring universe. It's probably my favorite one, but yeah, like every time someone's possessed, like the demon or whatever, like opens up the person's mouth and like either like, spits out like some sort of like breath or like some sort of like black plasma into the.
I think the Conjuring universe is real, bro, because
Mm,
I had, like, this nightmare after I saw that. I think it was The Conjuring 2 in theaters.
yeah.
It just felt like I was in hell.
Oh, dude, that's scary.
Yeah, it was like crazy. It felt like a long time. Not, it was more like, actually, it wasn't like hell, it was like our house got possessed. So we were like, kind of like in that movie, there was like a demon entity
Dude,
in the house. In my
that's
dream,
scary.
it felt so real, bro.
That's scary, dude.
Just, yeah, it made that movie so real to me. But 3, we were not to smile, laugh, cry, or show any emotion in any way in response to what we might see, hear, smell, taste, feel, etc. 4, we were not to speak to the boy, nor ask or respond to any questions that might be posed to us by him. So just like stoic, you're just a rock, you're just there to like hold down one of his limbs if
That's
things get dicey.
that's creepy.
All of these warnings impressed upon me that this would be no joking matter. When the exorcist was ready for us, he called to us to enter the room. Inside was a cramped and dark bedroom, not much bigger than a good-sized walk-in closet. A single ceiling-mounted light fixture hung above, containing 3 burnt bulbs, and one barely burning in between, occasional flickering. All furnishings had been removed from the room, save a mattress and box spring covered with a tarp rather than bed sheets. A lone family picture hung just above a wooden cross on the wall facing the barren bed. I could only speculate what must have happened to prompt the placement of the tarp. The priest began to read the rite of exorcism. He did so for several hours before calling the first break. The boy seemed to be asleep most of the time, although he opened his eyes in a vacant stare period. So he was looking at the eyes, bro.
Oh,
Supposed to be doing that. His eyes in a vacant stare periodically. I almost wish I could tell you lots of wacky stuff happened during all-night exorcism, but other than the oppressive air, only one thing of note happened. After the first break, the picture fell, knocking the cross to the floor with a crash. I reacted with a start, earning me a quick glance of warning from the exorcist. Let's just say I was happy I'd urinated before returning for round two. I was not called upon to restrain the boy's left leg at all during the rite, for which I gave silent thanks. In the morning, after a very long night, the bedroom atmosphere felt lighter. The exorcist, through his assistant priest, thanked us and sent us home. Before leaving, I asked a question of the boy's mother that had been long on my mind. In my best high school Spanish, I asked her whether the boy had ever had any strange dreams about flying prior to falling ill. She denied he'd had any such unusual dreams, and I believed her. Thus began my investigation into whether astral projection was involved in any way with demonic possession, as I had read in the past. Uh, yeah, that's a spooky one.
that's creepy. That's
I
like
ever thought of, or
yeah,
there's like a movie plot that was kind of like that.
yeah, Insidious.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking, dude. That's a creepy movie. Like that kid just falls ill and he goes into a coma, but he's just lost, like in this like realm because he astral projects. That was a creepy movie.
yeah, that's why I don't want to mess around with it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just I think being there would be scary too, because it would be so unfamiliar.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know if this is like a real thing that happened to me once, but like, I had this dream when I was a kid, and this might have like, just been like my overactive imagination. But I had this dream to where like I was out of my body watching myself sleep, but I was watching about like this like birthday party. And it's actually weird because it was when we were kids and it was a dream I had and it was like your birthday party. It was probably like when I was like maybe 5 or 6. I had this dream that you had a birthday party. And then like in my dream, like I was watching myself sleep, but I could see the dream like above my head, like a cloud almost. And
What
then the dream,
in
it was
SpongeBob?
yeah, exactly like that. And it was kind of funny in the dream because your brother, like, I can't remember what happened, but something happened, and your brother, like, knocked over your cake, and you got mad at him. And then what happened next was I rolled off my bed, and that's how I woke up. Now, I don't know if this is actually like an actual dream that happened, or it's just a dream I had or I thought this is what was happening in my dream. Like,
Maybe you were astral projecting, bro.
maybe, dude, because I like always thought about that. That's probably the weirdest dreams I've ever had, and I remember it so vividly. And I was
Like
like
you
six
woke
years
up
old.
when you like fell off your bed. Were you like, did you like see your body falling?
No, what happened is I rolled off my bed and I hit my head on this like little nightstand that was next to it. And, like I
So you
just
like
woke up and I was
woke
like, this
up.
shit.
But did you see like your head right before it hit the nightstand?
when I rolled off, it was like I was already back in my body,
Oh,
like, and then I rolled off. So I was like astral projection, or is that just a really weird dream I had as a kid? But the weird thing is, I had never heard of astral projection at that time, not until like I was in my mid-teens or so. I watched Insidious and stuff.
yeah.
Centuries.
I wonder if it can just happen.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Tree down, yeah. Is that like a Battlefield reference? I don't know.
Oh shit. Who is this?
Or maybe Burr's talking about TF2 still.
Oh, maybe.
So here's the rest of the post. The hermit crab theory of astral projection slash demonic possession. I saw a nature program a few years ago on hermit crabs. In that special, I saw a medium sized hermit crab abandon his shell to crawl into a vacant, larger shell. An instant later, I witnessed a small hermit crab take over the now vacated medium sized shell. I imagined some tiny crab would eventually claim that now empty shell home to complete this odd game of musical chairs. This special seemed to me to be a perfect metaphor for the fears around possession and astral projection. If the astral traveler dared leave his body shell for a minute, surely some other creature would slide into this now empty vessel. However, my research does not confirm this hypothesis. 1. In the case of the possession of Roland Doe, not his real name, in the 1940s,
Oh,
the boy involved had had some experience using a Ouija board with his aunt
mhm,
prior to his demonic possession. However, despite a rigorous psychological examination and a detailed report by the exorcist in this case, no mention of astral projection was made. This case became the seed material for the famous book and movie The
mhm.
Exorcist starring Linda Blair. Um,
I just watched a documentary about that too, about that case. Um, it was super wild. Because what happened was, when he was, I think he was a teenager, and he was really close with his aunt, and his aunt was really into Ouija boards and stuff. So as like a bonding time, what they would do is they would try to contact spirits together. So then when his aunt died, he tried to contact her with the Ouija board to try to come back in contact with her. That's why he got possessed.
that's scary, bro. Yeah, Ouija
Yeah,
freak me out, man.
yeah.
It just gives more reason not to mess with them.
Mm-hmm.
2. Another famous case of possession was that of Emily Rose, whose real name was Anneliese Michel. Anneliese was a very religious German Roman Catholic girl. She was so religious she always went to Mass twice per week. She was diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy and depression and treated for these conditions unsuccessfully. Eventually, she underwent 67 exorcisms that eventually resulted in her death, at which point she weighed 68 pounds. There was no evidence uncovered that she had ever experimented with the occult or experienced any astral projections prior to demonic infestation. 3. In Malachi Martin's book, Hostage to the Devil, Father Martin thoroughly reviews 5 cases of demonic possession in the US. Of these 5 cases, only one specifically mentions a psychic phenomena that might best be described as remote viewing. Once possessed, the man involved was able to project portions of his conscious to faraway places where he could observe the conditions and report back. However, he reported no remote viewing, much less full astral projections prior to his possession by the demonic. So he may have gained spiritual talents as a result of the demonic possession, but astral projection evidently had no place in the cause of the possession. My own case, I have had many thousands of astral projections to date. I remain unpossessed, happy with a loving family and comfortable surroundings. Conclusion, I have found to date relationship between astral projection and demonic possession. Okay.
So does he say, or like, did he say in the post, like, did he develop, was it something he developed and learned how to do, or was it like something he just like naturally kind of developed?
I don't know, I bet he talks about all that on his channel.
Yeah,
Called again? Astro Club, but nothing on this specific post. But I'm guessing they're pretty active. The name's Morgoth37, and they've probably talked more about it. Yeah, that's pretty interesting just how long they've been doing it. So,
yeah.
check out.
57 years is wild.
Yeah, maybe you'll have to check out one of those videos. Maybe we could watch that on the stream.
Oh
Wait,
yeah.
alright, this one looks pretty, like, this is the opposite, I feel like. So this says,
Oh,
the title says everything. I saw a demon enter my body while projecting.
oh,
By Capable Painter 6930. So a year ago, I took a trip with my family to Japan. At that time, I didn't know what astral projection is. I kind of knew how to detach my consciousness from my body, though. Later on the trip, I wanted to fly through the places I've been to, so I decided to try to detach my consciousness from my body while I was asleep. When doing so, I noticed that the vibration phase took longer than expected. Not the first time I did it, but finally, when I got out of my body, I saw one of the cabinets in the hotel I was staying at open. Whoa. I feel like that's creepy because that's usually where they keep, like, the Bible. Like,
yeah, I know.
wild. Uh, That's when I saw a demon the size of a baby wearing a stone Oni mask.
Oh, fuck. I was gonna say an Oni, it's Japan. Oh, that's creepy, dude.
A demon the size did it yeah, the size of a baby wearing a stone Oni mask. I tried to interact with it and ask questions, but it did not respond or even turn to me. But it was staring at my body. Suddenly, the stone mask falls off and I see its face. This freaked me out and my heart started racing. Then it jumped to my bed and phased through me, and that's when I woke up. Does anyone know what this means, or did anything like this happen to them? This happens a year this happened a year ago, but it still gives me goosebumps because I can still clearly remember what it looks like. I'm thinking of trying to astral project again and try to find it and ask it questions because I'm genuinely curious what it did to me or what it is.
That would be interesting if they had a follow-up post. 'Cause that's
Yeah, this
creepy.
was from 2 years ago. Let's see. Uh, no, that was their last post on astral projecting,
Oh,
as
damn.
far as I can tell. Maybe they just didn't want to try again. I wouldn't blame Gary.
Yeah, you terrified me.
Alright, let's do one more. This is called The Same Demon Keeps Visiting by Celestial 444. I really don't know what it wants from me. I've made other posts about my experiences with it before, and I'll link them at the end of this post so you can see what I mean. Just a few minutes ago, I was having what seemed to be an innocent dream. The background of the dream was just an empty, vast white room. This is a typical background when I'm having an astral plane dream. Me and my mom were watching some toddler. No idea whose toddler it was, but he was adorable. The only problem was that he had an anger issue. Anytime he got mad, he would claw at my mom's feet and make them bleed. I eventually got tired of this, so I took this baby into another room and scolded him. I told him it's not okay to do that. He babbled something about how he was just angry. I said, I understand that, honey, but there are other ways to express anger without hurting people. As soon as I said that, he looked me straight in the eyes. I was abruptly awoken by very deliberate knocking on my wooden bed. I was sleeping on my side facing towards the wall, so this knocking was from behind me. I thought perhaps my mom was trying to wake me up, but she'd never done that before. The knocking had a very specific rhythm: high, low, low, high, low, high, low. I can't describe it in words, lol. You may have heard that little tune before. A lot of people use it to knock. But then there was a loud bang, as if something fell. I gasped and turned around super fast. Nothing was there. I got up and turned the lights on to investigate what fell, but I don't even see anything out of place here. If you read my other dream stories, you might see the reason why I think this was the same demon. The scratching. It usually scratching stabs me in my back and I can feel it, but this time it was clawing at my mom, so I didn't. I've never experienced it ever do anything in reality like make those knocking and banging noises until today. What does it want? It's not attached to the room, it's attached to me, because I had my first dream about it when I was in my college dorm, so it must be following me on purpose. It doesn't come very often though. I keep wanting to call it a she. Usually she just looks like a black shadow figure with long hair. So, yeah, maybe you'll have to check out their other posts. Celestial 444.
That's creepy.
Shout out
So,
Lil Doomer boy. Thanks for coming on, dude. Every
oh yeah, dude, this is
music.
sick.
Stream his songs. Lil Doomer boy.
Thanks. We have a banger together called Beamer Boy Part 2 and Cigarette Burns. It goes hard.
Yeah, they go hard. Yeah, the scratching demon sounds scary.
Yeah,
I
dude.
feel like your bro said uh he had like a dream where he got like scratched. I don't he might have scratched himself, but it was like
Yeah.
demonic in nature.
Yeah, I had once when I was working at the restaurant, I was watching the restaurant by myself, and it's before we opened for lunch. And what happened was like I kept hearing like weird knocks. Like I thought it was just like I don't know, just like the wind or whatever. And I was playing my guitar just like in the dining room because like it was empty. And then I saw like this figure like walk by this window, which we have it blocked, and I could see like this like green mesh to cover up the window, but like I saw this black figure, and I was like, "What the hell?" I'm supposed to be here by myself, so I looked and walked outside. And I didn't see anything, and then when I was coming back in the door, I felt like a weird like stinging on my arm, and it was like I didn't feel it, like see anything at first. I don't know what the heck. And I sat down and I was playing guitar for maybe 20 more minutes, and I looked down at my arm because my short sleeves, and I saw there's like this red mark on my arm, it looked like a scratch. It was weird. Like,
Whoa, bro.
yeah, I've been a couple times there.
Wait,
It
this was
was
at work?
Yeah, the restaurant.
Is
And
it like a really old building?
it's actually one of the original buildings in town. Yeah, it's like from the 1980s, I think. So one of like the after like Fraser, after the town was built up, it was like the first, like one of the first spots because it used to be like a tavern and stuff.
Oh
And
yeah, what are the bit? Aren't there like a couple buildings where there's like this tunnel connected?
yeah, from
A
the park.
Mexican restaurant or something, or
Mm-hmm.
tavern or something.
Yeah, the tavern that leads up to like, these houses, and those were used during the Prohibition era to run alcohol back and forth.
Right, that's so cool, dude.
Yeah,
One was probably like murdered or something. Dude.
yeah, dude.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, it would be cool to see that tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I gotta get some shut eye soon, but uh yeah, thanks for joining in, bro.
Oh yeah. Thanks for inviting me. That was sick. If you ever do one about like what's it called? Like people, if there's stories on Reddit of people getting trapped in different universes, like in different timelines. Those
Ooh,
are super interesting. I'll send you some. I have
oh,
them
yeah.
saved.
Or
Yeah,
like where
dude.
people accidentally teleport into like a different timeline or something, or parallel universe.
Yeah, dude.
You know, or
Those
like
are.
they'll like see someone they know and they don't know them. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know who you are. And they're
Yeah, dude.
best friends in the other timeline.
Yeah.
Those,
Those are
dude,
super
that's a
sick.
great idea. Thanks, man.
Yeah, dude. Hell
Alright,
yeah.
subscribe for that. That's gonna be fire.
Hell
Alright,
yeah, dude.
later.
Later.